Hi, welcome to Joanna's DIY Life. On this channel, you never know what you're going to see. I'll just be honest. Today we're going to be doing some more 4th of July, but these are kind of rustic. Now, let's get crafty. So the first thing I'm going to use is the rest of my leftover window clings in this one. Some paint, these little brass plated fasteners. I got these at Walmart like a long time ago. So you can paint your board any color you want to, but I'm just going to take a wipe and some wax. You can use Waverly wax. I got this at Hobby Lobby. Same thing. I'm just going to wipe around the edges and in just a little bit. I didn't want to cover the whole board because I didn't want to make the white in the middle different color. But I showed you the sander because you do want to sand these little planks and boards and whatnot off because the splinters sometimes are terrible. So like I said, I want to leave the middle open so that, you know, the white lettering will be still white. You can see through these little window clings. So I'm going to take my Mod Podge, of course, and I am going to use a very, very thin layer. The less the better, I find, with the window clings and a lot of things. But I'm just going to put a layer on and try to smooth it out even. Then I'm going to lay my cling down. Any excess hanging over, you can just sand off or trim with a blade if you want to. But anyway, then I'm going to use my facial makeup doohickey I got at the Dollar Tree and rub out any excess glue and bubbles. Personally, my favorite method is to use a paper towel, dry paper towel, or dry sponge. But anyhow, I'm going to lay that over and let it dry. Now I'm going to get this chunky board from the Dollar Tree. This is one of the little, I don't know if it's a longer or short, but either way it's a chunky slat, okay? And I needed blocks. You could put this on there just like this if you want to, but I thought blocks would be cuter. So I'm going to take my little miter box and my saw, and I'm going to cut little blocks out. I'm going to measure. They are 1.5, it looks like. I'll remeasure with a ruler right here to make sure. So I'm going to measure those, and then I'll mark on my board where I need to cut, and then I'll cut on those lines, and I'll have my little blocks. And then you want to make sure that you have a sandpaper to sand all those rough edges down, and then we'll be able to glue our little doodads down. While that is done, I am just going to take my wax and I am going to go over all of my wood pieces. I use a baby white because that's the method I prefer. If you want to, you can paint it on. Leave it that way if you want it dark. Paint it on, wipe it off. To me, that just wastes wax, and I like the lighter color, so I choose this way. You do you. Now I'm just going to cut these letters in pieces, and then I'm just going to take Mod Podge and add these on there. Y'all, these are the simplest little DIYs for a tiered tray ever, using these window clings, and they come out so rustic and so stinking cute. That's all you do. Make sure you get them centered, and you know, you don't want your letters all wonky, but anyway, just make sure you push out any excess glue and bubbles and let that dry. And I'm going to do the same thing for this block, and y'all don't need me talking through it. Now this one is dry, and I am just going to take my mat. This is a self-healing cutting mat. You don't want to cut on those silicone ones. You will cut holes in those. And I'm just going to simply trim this up. Easy peasy. Now you can paint the back if you want to. That's up to you. But that's what I'm doing. Just, I don't care about the back. But anyway, I'm going to take these brad fastener things, and I'm going to take wire cutters. I should have took my big ones, which I get in a minute. These little ones I like. They're easy to handle, but I need a new pair. I got to go get me a new pair, y'all. But anyway, I end up with the big ones, and I'm just cutting the little spread out pieces after you poke them through your paper or whatnot. Make sure when you cut them, you push down to put that excess all up in there. Whew, I'm struggling. Now you just take hot glue and glue them on. Make sure that you get them, you know, looking even. You don't want them on here all shabby. You can take your fingernail if you have one and pick off any glue that seeps out the sides. But anyways, I just thought this was a cute little, you know, way to jazz it up just a little bit. And I like it, but you don't have to do this. But like I said, I think it's cute. So I did. And after I got them on there, I took a furniture marker, and I'm going to go around the edges. I tested it on the back to make sure. Some of them are kind of orange looking, and I didn't want that. So I'm just going to go around the edge with the furniture marker. You can get these at the Dollar Tree. They're awesome to DIY with. And then when I'm done, I'm going to go over the brass fasteners just to dull them down a little bit. You can put a tumbling tower block on the back of this if you want it to stand up. You can put a jute string on the back to hang it if you want to. I'm just going to put it in a tiered tray and lean it up against the, you know, the poles or whatever you have in the inside of your tiered tray. I'm just going to lean it up against that in the middle because it's kind of a bigger piece, and then possibly put stuff in the front. But anyway, there it is, and that one is finished. Now I'm gonna take these blocks, and you can do this, add a little bit of heat to it and press down. Now don't add so much heat that you melt these completely, but this will melt them a little bit to your wood to get them to stick. Did y'all see that? That's what happens when your glue's not dry, people. You peel it off. Anyway, I'm going to just dry this just a little bit. But anyways, the heat helps. Be careful you don't pull it back up. I really should have let this dry, but I'm in a hurry. But anyways, you know. Stuff happens, people. Anyways, it was funny, to say the least, but I got it. So, here we go. I'm just going to sand the excess off. Be careful you don't pull it off. Now, here they are. You can stack them on top of each other. You can leave them like this, you know, whatever you want to do. That's up to you. Now, I'm just going to take these little wood stars, and you can leave them raw wood because that's kind of cute. But I'm going to paint mine white with my DIY chalk paint. And then I am going to take, after they dry really, really good, a fine tip permanent marker. And I'm going to draw stitch lines on the stars because I think it's cute, so why not? Then I will simply just glue these to the sides of this little sign. Now on this one, I'm going to take some popsicle sticks. These are just tongue depressors and some of the mini tumbling tower blocks. I put 8 in a row going down, and there are 3 sets of 8. So that's 24 tumbling tower blocks that I'm going to be using, and they will be glued together like this. Now this is my inspiration picture from Pinterest made out of 2x4s. But I am seriously downsizing with Jenga blocks. But anyways, I'm going to take out, looks like 4. And then I'm going to glue these like this. I'm trying to figure out which ones are going to stay wood and which ones I am going to paint red. So, I'm going to use my Titebond wood glue. Now, the reason I'm using the wood glue as opposed to the hot glue, to me, the hot glue pops off. It also is bulky and leaves gaps in your wood pieces. So I love the Titebond, or the super glue wood glue from the Dollar Tree works awesome as well. But I am just going to glue these together. You want to push together as tight as you can and smush out any excess glue and then wipe that away. But you want to make sure you get them really, really tight. And it does not take this Titebond Quick and Thick long to set up at all to where you can work with it. But you do want to set these to the side, be patient, and let them dry just a little. So this is what I'm going to be doing to all my blocks. I prefer to do them in sections, which make it easier to glue together. That's just my philosophy of thinking. And I didn't want to put paint in between these because paint will also cause your glue not to stick very well. So I'm gluing them together before painting. So now I have them glued, and I'm going to set these to the side because I do not want paint on those. Now I'm just going to take Waverly chalk paint. I get it at Walmart. And the reason I use chalk paint is because it was a darker color and I didn't want to mix paints again. So that's why I used it. But after I paint it on, I kind of wanted the, you know, like paint wash look so you could see the wood underneath of it. So when I painted it on, I'm not painting on the flat side, just the 2 skinny sides, because the flat side is where the glue is going to go. Glue will adhere better without paint. So anyways, I'm going to put this on, and then I'm going to get a wipe, and I'm going to wipe it off to let some of the wood show through. And I will do the same to the wood block, paint it, and then wipe it down to let the wood show through. Now when I have everything painted, I'm going to take wax and a wipe, and I'm going to go over all of my popsicle sticks because they will be on the outside. And then I'm going to go over the edges of this to stain them as well. Now is the assembly process. I knew I started with a brown and ended up with a red, but this time I started with the brown and ended up with the red. But anyway, it doesn't matter how it goes, I guess. I don't know. But I am going to take these now that I have in sections and glue those sections together to make my flag. Press down tight, make sure you get them straight or your wood won't go around the edges. So I'm going to assemble all these, and the blocks will go in last, putting glue on one side and then down on the bottom and smushing it in the corner. Now we're all together, and I'm going to take the popsicle sticks and I'm going to build a box or frame or whatever you want to call it around my piece. Now these green handled snips from the Dollar Tree, to me, above any other tool I use, cut these popsicle sticks, tongue depressors, craft sticks, whatever you want to call it, better than anything without splitting them and splintering them and all that jazz. So I always pick them up in the spring when they have them at the Dollar Tree. I pick up a couple at a time in case they break because I love using these. They're very, very handy. But anyway, I'm just going to measure this, and I'm going to cut these down to size and then take my Titebond and glue them on. You will see me here putting down the Titebond and leaving room on the edge to put a little line of hot glue. This will give it a permanent hold with the wood glue, temporary hold, so the wood glue will set up with the hot glue. Now I am just going to take one of these white markers from the Dollar Tree and draw little stars on this. You can leave it blank. The other side will be blank. This side will have stars. So you can leave it either way. This is what it looks like when I am done. Now for this one, I'm taking a wood truck from the Dollar Tree. Boom! I painted mine. I didn't want y'all to have to watch me paint this, but I just painted it blue and then put some detail on. I Mod Podged a napkin and I have little stars, but I Mod Podged the napkin on the hearts. I didn't finish, sorry. So this is a Dollar Tree sign, you know, from Easter. I am just going to take the jute string off and I'm going to peel all this paper off. Y'all won't have to watch me do that. So now I've got all the paper peeled off and I'm going to take one of these papers that I got from the Dollar Tree. These are peel and stick and I'm just going to draw it. And then I am going to use the smooth side and adhere it after I cut it out. Now these are easy to peel and stick, but make sure that you get them as centered as possible because they don't peel up very well. They stick pretty good on a flat surface. So if you have any extra, which I did cut it a little bit bigger, just turn it over and cut it or sand it or whatever. Now I'm using this pink pokey tool thing and I'm poking my holes back in because I want to put my jute string back in there. Okay, just making sure that I smooth out any bubbles or wrinkles in my paper before I trim it. I tried to use scissors, but this is actually easier if you use an X-Acto knife. Just saying. Now, because I want my truck to stand up a little bit, I got these craft sticks from Walmart. They're skinny sticks. And I am just going to put hot glue on those. And I'm going to glue them around my truck, cutting them if I have to. I ended up pulling this one back off because it was too close. And I couldn't stick my stuff behind it like I wanted to. So anyways, I'm just laying these sticks on so that I could glue the sticks and not the truck and make it pop up just a little bit. So I have the Celebrate, and that's the last one of the window clings that I think I wanted to use. And I want to put this on the side like that. I'm trying to figure out how I want these on. And then I have these gold foil rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree. And I have not used these before. So this is a new thing on me. So I'm just going to take, and I want the Freedom. So I'm going to put Celebrate Freedom. And I'm going to incorporate a little bit of gold in here because I think it would be just totally cute. So I'm going to arrange this on here the way I want it. Make sure I like it first before I put anything down. So I'm going to leave the truck here, peel these off. These are weird. They're not like the other ones. I'm going to place this where I want it. Then I'm going to move my truck. And I'm going to use my pink tool. Am I using a pink tool? I don't know what I'm using. The pink tool works better for these transfers anytime. That little weird end. But anyways, I've not used these before. The whole thing is turning gold. And it's really weird. But it doesn't affect your words. Which is very bizarre. I don't know. When I get it down, then I take my sponge and I just push my transfers down. This makes them adhere a whole lot better and it doesn't pull anything up. Then I was going to Mod Podge this down with Mod Podge, but then I thought it would put Mod Podge everywhere. So I take my glue stick and I am just going to put glue on the window cling. Then I'll put the window cling down over the over the top up there. I'm just going to glue it down as opposed to Mod Podging because I didn't want it everywhere. I think later that I went in with Mod Podge and went just over that and around the edge just slightly to make sure that nothing was going to pop up or anything like that. Now I'm going to take my truck. How stinking cute is that? And I'm going to hot glue on these little sticks I put on there and secure that right down where I want it. And that holds beautifully. Now, I thought I was going to put these in there, and I thought, no, I don't really like the greenery, which was my initial thing, and then these little pip berries, but I didn't like how it was poking out everywhere. I just really like these things. So, I am going to randomly glue them everywhere on top of each other and everything else just to make them pop out and be cute. Here it is with all of them glued in. And now I was determined to get some pip berries in there somewhere. And there was some little spaces. So I'm just going to pull the berries off. And I'm going to hot glue the berries in the little spaces. You do not have to do this. It's just something that I was determined, I guess, to get the pip berries in there and do. So I did. I was also determined to add something to the door. So I added this rub-on transfer. And there it is all on. And I'm just going to simply add my string back on that I took off. And there you go. Cute, cute, cute. Now, this next one, I thought this saying was real cute. Didn't have no idea how it was going to transfer. You know, I've never used these before. The writing was so stinking small, but it would fit on the star. So I'm going to paint the star, this blue color that I had in my paints that I made, actually. This is a DIY chalk paint. So I am going to put this on, and I'm not worried about covering the edges or anything like that. And I'm going to do this front and back just because it can be seen on either side. Now I have it painted, and I like it. It kind of reminds me of blue jeans, and I think that's cute. So I'm just going to lay my transfer on, which I didn't get centered. Y'all make sure you get yours centered. And then I'm going to take my pink tool. I think this is an embossing tool, actually. I'm not sure what it's called. I just call it the pink tool from the Dollar Tree. I have them all over my craft room, and I use them everywhere because I love them. But anyways, I'm just going to rub it down, pull it back, and there it is. It's kind of hard to see, but the shininess of it on that blue is beautiful. So, yeah, there it is. It is what it is. So, yeah. I was going to put something on the back, and then I was like, nah, just leave this on the front. There it is. It's done. Yada, yada. Move on. Okay, now, these are from the Dollar Tree as well, but they're the little boxes that have lights in them. You know, like they have one turkey on one side, one turkey on the other side. Well, I take them apart and I use the wood. So these are the parts that's left over. And I wanted to use them. So I'm just going to take these little parts. And I had a bunch. Now you do have to make sure they're the right size. And I'm going to make me a planter box. A mini planter box. So I'm going to be using these popsicle sticks. And it took one of the normal tongue depressor kind. And then it took a wider craft stick from, I think I get them at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. I take another one and glue them two together. Then I'm just going to assemble my box using hot glue. Now, I will tell you the hot glue did pop off. So wood glue or wood hot glue might work. But either way, you get the gist of putting this box together. And what to do, so I'm just going to let you watch. when I was wiping this down, I looked over and noticed that I had put this on the wrong side out. But that's okay. Sanded it down, just make it, you know, have that more rustic look that I was going for anyway. So, whatever. So, I sanded it all down real good and scraped it off with my Silhouette scraper. Now, I'm just going to stain it with my wax like I normally do. Y'all have seen this a million times. Okay, I could have edited this whole video and took this out, but I wanted you to see. I had this decal. I cut my decals out and had them ready. When I put them on, you cannot see it on the brown. So, I sanded it off, which was so easy to sand off. And I'm just going to take my white chalk paint, and I am going to put a distress coat over this, kind of a heavy distress coat. And that way, they'll show up a little better. And I absolutely love this box after I messed it up and distressed it with the white. I actually thought it was gorgeous. Now, you still have trouble seeing the decal, but it is better than doing it on the dark wax. I don't know why, but the gold just didn't show up on the dark wax. So, anyways, I could have painted it black. That might have showed up, but I didn't want a black planter for the 4th. So, white it is. And this is what it looks like with the decals on. Like I said, you can see it a little bit better. It looks very distressed, which just tickles me. So, I'm not putting anything in there to hold these. I'm just going to put some boxwood that I get from Walmart in there. And this is, you know, just the cutest little thing, I think, to go on any 3-tiered tray. You know, the tray thing. And here's a look at the tray, or a tray, with the items in it. I mean, of course, you can arrange it different. I just had to, you know, arrange them forward so you could see. But this is very hard to see, but it's still pretty with the gold on the blue. So it's doable. Not my favorite, but it's doable. Then there's that back there. There's my favorite as far as tiered tray stuff. And then I arranged my blocks that way. And there's the little planter. And then there is my little truck sign. I absolutely love this thing. It is so stinking cute. If you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel. Ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. And remember that you are a blessing. Until next time, goodbye.